Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to our May Marketing Bootcamp. Always happy to have you here. And if we haven't connected yet, my name is Amy Yamada, and I'm here to help you to deeply connect with yourself, your vision, and your ideal clients so that you can create the impact and the income that you've always wanted. So this week has been all about the offer. So of my Create, Connect, Offer system. And it's so funny because I always come back to the system even as I've grown and had, these awesome, more advanced strategies with online marketing funnels and summits and interviews and being featured on podcasts and film documentaries. Like, it's so cool what happens when you really put yourself out there vulnerably. And at the same time, even after that growth, I always come back to these very simple and clean steps and systems because as I recently was at Lisa Sasovich's event, one thing I love that she kept saying is that the structure gives you freedom, right? The structure gives you freedom. So when you know what your structures are, what your systems are, and then I love to always think about, what could be possible today, because every day is life and anything is possible. Like one thing I love to always ask my clients is, what would make today a miracle? What if today was a day that a miracle happened? What would a miracle look like for you? So it's just good to ponder these things to stay totally on point no matter what kind of day you're having. I have mornings where I wake up and I'm not in my just like, everything's going to be great mode, And this morning was actually one of them. I was kind of like, oh, I'm kind of tired. And I just, it was just kind of off a little bit. And then the way that I get back into like my purpose, my passion is I really have some quiet space and I connect within, right? That's the deep connection with yourself. And what was beautiful this morning was that, I think that sometimes if I'm not feeling my usual happy-go-lucky self, it's because I haven't connected within. And maybe there are people that I really love in my life that I haven't connected with in a little while. So what's beautiful about this is when you really get this piece of connecting within and connecting with others beyond business, then I feel like there's some magic that happens. So case in point, just about 10 minutes ago, I got a text message from my dear friend, Eduardo Kawam. He's, the producer and director of Metropolitan Fashion Week. He's like my soul brother, we definitely were probably connected in past lives. And he and his family are just like family to me. So he sends me this message and he was just like, hi Amy. I was just thinking about you this morning. How are you doing? And it just warmed my heart because I know that sometimes, when you focus out so much, and I know all of you do, you focus out, you give, you serve, you help your loved ones. Sometimes maybe you don't put yourself first. How many of you can relate to that? If you can relate to that, say, yes, that's me, right? Or if you're watching the replay of this, just say, that's me. It can feel depleting, and I think that for me, I'll just speak for myself. I don't recognize it when it's happening. I just recognize it when I'm not feeling my usual self. And it's in that moment that if I instead of ignoring it or just saying, oh, I'm sure I'm fine, I don't know what's up with me, or thinking that maybe there's some underlying stress. Usually it's because I'm depleted. And when I'm depleted of like really feeling like, I know some people call it your love tank, like your love and friendship. And like there are people in your life that are just so special to you. And, I have people on my team that are so special. Of course, Ken and his kids and my family. Like there's just some people that are so special to me. And Eduardo is one of them, soul brother. And so to get that text message from him, I was like, I got a little tear. I was like, oh my God, this might be an emotional week. But I just said, oh my gosh, I was just thinking about him yesterday, thinking, gosh, I should reach out. It's been a little bit of time since Metropolitan Fashion Week Seattle that, I MC this amazing event twice a year and I work alongside him. And so I said, oh my gosh, I was just thinking about you yesterday. And this morning I was feeling a little off for some reason. And so just to hear from you, like, just thank you. Yeah. And he just wrote back and he said, of course. He goes, and he said 3 simple words. We are connected. We are connected. And I was like, oh, so maybe this could be a day that if there's someone that has come to your heart and your mind that you haven't talked to in a little while, and there's someone who's really dear to you, why don't you just send them a quick text message or give them a quick call or say, hey, let's get together. It's been a little while. And just be reminded that we are all connected. So anyway, that was just the start to my day. So I wanted to go right back into our training of Beyond You, right? Beyond You is my own original sales enrollment conversation. And it's something that I come back to whenever I'm in an enrollment conversation with someone. I like to call it a make a difference conversation. It's beyond you. It's beyond business. You get to make a difference. And I was thinking about a couple years ago, I was in this endurance program. So every once in a while I'll get this crazy idea of just like, okay, I'm gonna do this endurance training and train for some endurance challenge. And I love to do it with a group of people. So I was in this endurance training and I was training for the Big Sur half marathon. And Suzanne Evans, some of you may know Suzanne Evans, she was also participating in the group. And one of our group calls, she actually co-led the call with Katya, who's this super amazing triathlete coach, and Shanda, who was part of the program. So she was like one who launched the program. So anyway, I'm listening to Suzanne, who's like, has more on her plate than probably most people, right? She puts on these massive events. She has her, she's got her wife and now they have a baby and she's just got this really full life. She's a full team. She's built a multiple 7-figure business and she committed to this training program when she had not been exercising for years. And there wasn't a single day of training that she missed. And I was like, how does this, she's flying all over the place. She's running 10 miles, she's running, walking, whatever she needs to do to just get it done. And I said to her, because we were asked the question, she asked the question, think about your training and think about your business. And what parallels do you see in whatever, might be a gap in your business that also is a gap in your training or vice versa? So I thought about this, I was like, okay, so I am noticing a parallel, right? Because how you show up here is how you show up everywhere. And so, I pressed *2 to raise my hand on the call. And she's like, Amy. And I said, okay, this is what I'm noticing is sometimes I let myself off the hook, like in my endurance training. And sometimes I let my clients off the hook in what they say that they want and they're not taking the action steps. And this is an unforgettable moment. This is exactly what, mind you, I was on a call with like 100 people listening to my vulnerability. And for those of you who know Suzanne Evans, she's a straight shooter. She's a very funny person and she just cuts out any BS. And so I said to her, I was like, yeah, sometimes I let myself off the hook and sometimes I let my clients off the hook. And she said to me just like so fast, she's like, well, why are you being such a shitty coach? It's like, and thank goodness, while some would be like, oh my God, yes, it was a vulnerable moment. She's like, why are you being such a shitty coach? And so I just responded. I said, I don't know. I don't want to be a shitty coach. Excuse my language, but these were the words. I said, I don't know. I don't want to be a shitty coach. And she said, the whole point of being a coach is to not let people off the hook. I was like, oh my gosh. It was one of those aha moments. And I thought to myself, okay, I got it. So moving forward, I get to be the best coach ever alongside the other greats of the coaching world. And it really opened up my eyes to seeing that, while I know that there's a backstory of wanting to be liked and not wanting to ruffle feathers, as a coach, and just think about any great coach. Sometimes the team members or the clients or the community members or the tribe are not going to like what the coach says because the coach is going to push you. The coach is going to stretch you. The coach is going to say, hey, you said you have a vision and now you're not doing the thing. Should I say, oh, okay, why don't you just not do the thing? Because, you don't need to have your vision. Right? This is so great. So to Suzanne Evans, wherever you are right now, I thank you for calling me a shitty coach because it changed my life. So great, right? So moving forward, I was like, there are moments. Remember, I should have just like a little puppet that's like the little voice. Maybe I should get a little puppet. Maybe some of you know where I could get like a little sock puppet or something. This is my little voice. So when the little voice comes out, it's like, oh, just let them off the hook, be nice to them, coddle them, enable them to not do the thing. So when the little voice comes up, I remember that moment. I'm like, you know what? I am so committed to being a great coach. And if I let them off the hook, I am a shitty coach and I'm not okay with that. Just like I would hope that I would be held high, which I am, by the way. I have, Shanda is my business coach. Crystal Jackson is like my athletic mindset, lifestyle coach. I'm all about the coaches, right? And they hold me high. There's times when I have resistance and they hold me high. It's so great. So that takes us to the N, I'm sorry, we did the N yesterday, the D and the U of the Beyond You conversation. If you're just joining us, then you get to go back and watch this week's training or the last few trainings to learn all the steps. I'll recap them quickly. So write down Beyond You, Beyond in the letter U. B is all about the big dream. What's your big dream? And E is about the effort. What effort have you been putting into this the last couple of months? And what effort are you putting into it now? Where are you holding yourself back? The Y is the yes, you can story. And that's when we go into the PSR, which I use for lots of different things in my business, problem, solution, result. So it's really sharing a vulnerable story, deeply connecting. And then let's see, we go into the O. So that's when we transition into the offer. And then we go into the N, which is the nuts and bolts. So that's when you do the 3 steps of the overview, the logistics, and the investment. That's what we went over yesterday. Are you ready? Are you excited? Here's what's next. So then we go into the D. And the D is to, and write this down, don't let them off the hook. Right? Don't let them off the hook. Whether you're a coach or not, if you are on an enrollment conversation, you are practicing leadership and you are practicing being influential and impactful and making a difference. Don't let them off the hook and stand for their vision. The other don't is to don't be attached. Do not be attached, because it's not about attachment to the result. It's about commitment to making a difference. So don't let them off the hook and don't be attached. Yes, don't let them off the hook. So what do I mean by this? So when you get to the point, right, this is all about the infamous sales objections, right? That moment, it's like you have that moment where you're like, what are they going to say? I think it's actually kind of exciting. Like, what are they going to say? Is it like a total yes, I'm in? Oftentimes it's not. Like, let's just be real. Even if they love you, they see the value, they see how it can help them. In transformation conversations, the shit comes up. Oh my gosh, I'm totally using that word today. Just their stuff comes up, right? And so then you get to really stand for them. Don't let them off the hook. So oftentimes people will say to me when I'm on a make a difference beyond you conversation, they'll say, gosh, Amy, I love what you're about. I've been on your marketing boot camp calls. I've been following you for the last year, whatever their situation is. I totally see the value and I just can't afford it. Or I need to think about it, or I need to meditate on it, or I need to talk to my spouse. Like, these are popular objections that come up. And so they're not saying I'm an absolute definite no, right? Like, and I want you to hear that, actually. Hear that piece. If they say to you, I am absolutely 1,000% no, even then I might say, just to ask for feedback, I say, so what, just curious what's coming up for you. Even if I can tell they're like adamant, I might still say, I hear you. I hear that you're an absolute definite 1,000% no, which usually they don't use as words. I just want you to get this piece. If they say that, then I would say, oh, just curious, like what's coming up for you, or what's missing for you in this opportunity? Because when you share with me that you want X, Y, and Z, and I can see very clearly how this can help you get there, I'm just curious, like and I always say, you can totally be transparent with me. Just curious, what's missing for you? And anytime you ask a question, I just repeat this many times. Anytime you ask a question, be quiet after you ask the question so they have an opportunity to respond. Oftentimes they won't say, I'm a total no. So then they're giving you information about where they are right now. And it's usually representing some fear, the fear of uncertainty. There's lack, there's scarcity. What if I can't? What if I sign up for this and I don't follow through? There might be a distrust happening. There's all sorts of stuff that come up. So my point is to bring it back to don't let them off the hook, is that if they say something like, oh, I just can't afford it, or I just don't know, I always lead with compassion, like with integrity. I will only say this if I can, within my heart of hearts, mean it, of course. So if I can relate to what they're saying to me, I will lead with compassion by saying, I'll take it in from a heart space and say, you know what, I totally understand. And then I will go back into a brief story, another PSR story, so problem, solution, result, where I go back again to where I was, where they are now, in some way, shape, or form. Even if it's not the exact same type of story, but some situation where I took a chance on myself and what that looked like and how that turned out on the other side of it. Does that make sense? So So oftentimes, because it's often when I'm on a call with someone who I can totally feel the connection, they're seeing the value, and usually it's the money objection. Oftentimes as a business coach, they come to me, they've got a money objection. And I always say to them, like, it's funny, no one ever comes to me when they're sitting on a pot of gold. Of course they don't, because otherwise they probably wouldn't need me, right? So I'll say to them, I totally understand. And I'll either go back to a more recent time that I was feeling stretched, or I'll go back to when I first invested in my first higher level year-long coaching program. So it would sound something like this. So this is what you can write down. I'll never forget when, or I'll never forget the moment when, or gosh, this really reminds me of. Those are good story starters. I'll never forget the moment when, or gosh, this really reminds me of the time when. So I'll say, I'll never forget the moment when I was, on a call, just like some of you maybe heard this story because I've used this as an example before, but it's so true. Like I can picture myself back there. I'll never forget the moment when I was on a call just like this. And this is where tone of voice, don't just rehearse and say a story like it's scripted. Actually be willing to go, care enough about the person to go there. Drop into your heart and take yourself back to that moment, that vulnerable moment where you can really relate to where they are now. To say, yeah, I'll never forget that moment when I was sitting on a call just like this and I was talking to a coach and I had absolutely I totally felt a connection with her and I really wanted to do it. And I had absolutely no way in my head how, I had no idea how I was going to pay for it. And then the lean in, right? So here's what I did, right? Here's what I did. And that's when I made a decision that was in line with my vision. And I thought to myself, if I can just come up with that initial payment, because fortunately they do offer a payment plan. If I could just scrape together that initial payment, then I'll have a whole other month to problem solve and come up with the next month's payment. And I just asked myself, how badly do I want this? And how committed am I? That's it. And if I don't do this, what is my plan? And do I think that I'll be able to resolve it on my own? And if I do, how long will that take? Versus actually having someone take my hand who's already done it, say, step 1, step 2, step 3. If this is where you're stuck, let me coach you. It's so much better. It's so much better with a coach and a community. So I'll share vulnerably my story, and then I'll say, so when I share with you my story, what comes up for you? And then I'm quiet because I just asked a question. And, anything can come up. They might say, oh, that's really good, good for you, Amy. Or they might say, wow, and they the wheels start turning. The whole point of the story is not that they will resolve their situation the exact same way that you resolved it. It's simply to open them up to possibility. That's it. And then in the you part of Beyond You is to deeply understand them. At the core of this human being experience, we want to feel validated, accepted, understood. And at the very, very core, we want to feel loved. At the very core, I always like to, at my trainings, at my retreats, I draw these circles, kind of like a target. And, and it's we want to feel understood. We want to feel accepted. We want to feel validated. We want to feel heard. And at the very core, in that very heart center, we want to feel loved. And so if you and I can just, all stand shoulder to shoulder and be the source of love and create that sacred space to help the people that are our ideal clients to achieve the result that they want, doesn't that sound great? Won't we make the world a better place? So that is the D and the U of Beyond You. So this is where, I'm giving you the best training of what I have so that you can go out there in the world and do what you need to do. And I also understand that there's still questions and still, have confusion around how to hold someone high or really practicing the enrollment conversation. And that's where Powerhouse California and my Powerhouse Mastermind come in. And so the only reason why I bring this up is that so often I see entrepreneurs who try to do it on their own. And I was no different, right? You and I are the same. At the beginning, the first couple of years of launching my business, I was oh, I got this. I had ego going on. I was I got this. I can do this. I've got this background. I worked in the media for 15 years, advertising, sales, promotions, marketing, copywriting. I've got this. I've consulted business owners. Total ego, total ego. And I found myself making a little progress here and there, but going so slowly and just coming up against myself and not seeing how could I become one of those amazing coaches and influential entrepreneurs? How could I be the person writing those books and speaking on those stages and traveling? How how can I do that when I'm making like $1,000 a month, off my private coaching clients, and I feel like my time is all consumed by these little packages with these wonderful people, but it's just not adding up. Like it's not a sustainable plan. So I only bring this up because I know some of you have been on with me every single day, and we still have time. So I'm not saying this is like obviously it goes to the end of May. But I just I'm feeling called to speak from my heart right now, as I often do. And oftentimes what I'll hear people say is, Amy, I really, really, really want to work with you and your team. And they'll share with me their whole story. They're like, I'm stressed out about paying my bills next month, or I'm saving up for a house, or I just don't know if this is the best use of my money right now. And I really do get it. I really do get it. I've had multiple times over the last few years where I've been in that exact same space where I'm like, I was just there like last week at Lisa's event, where I was just like, okay, do I really need to add one more thing to my plate? Right? Do I really need to add one more thing to my plate? Could I do this on my own? And yeah, I could have. And at the same time, I know that the growth that I've had, especially over the last few years, and I'm working my 7-figure plan, like if you haven't gotten to at least the 6-figure mark or the multiple 6-figure mark, just please hear this. The number one investment I have made is in coaching, hands down. It wasn't in my Facebook ad campaigns. It wasn't in like having like all the bells and whistles. It wasn't in like there are all sorts of things you can invest in. Online marketing funnels, all those things are great. So please know that, right? And the best investment has been to invest in a coach and invest in a community and just decide I get to be a success story. I get to be the one that gets to write the testimonial. I get to be the one that's on Amy's success panel on stage in October at her Dream Big event sharing my story. I get to be the one amongst others that have also made this decision that I am good enough that I get to invest in myself. Like, when was the last time you invested in yourself? And some of you have. Some of you have the opposite situation where it's like, oh my gosh, I'm totally investing right now, right? I'm totally investing right now. I'm spending $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 a year on investing in myself and my team. Do I really need to add one more thing? Again, whether you're the first or the latter, that was me last week. I was like, okay, I'm already investing so much in my business, in coaching, in my team, in myself, in my personal development. Do I really need to add one more thing? I don't. Nobody's forcing me to. And whenever I see an opportunity, it's just one of two questions. What's my vision? And is the opportunity in front of me truly an opportunity that's going to get me closer to my vision? Or is it a distraction that's going to take me away from my vision? And that's how I make my decisions. And it's one of the biggest messages I felt I'm called to share here, because not just here, but in the world, because far too often, and you'll hear this from like Tony Robbins and, Oprah and all the greats in the world. It's like far too often people make decisions that are based on their fear of uncertainty, fear of lack and scarcity, fear of I'm not good enough, fear of what are people going to think of me if I do this, fear of who am I to think I can do it? Like all the shit that comes up. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, if we could all, myself included, continue to break through those limiting beliefs and lead a vision-based, a dream-based, a like I can do it based life, we'd be all in a better place. The whole world would be in a better place. And at the end of the day, at the source of it is love and deep connection. That's it. So if this has resonated with you, like if this has helped you, like even if you have like been with me in this capacity or even since last year, and if there's been something that has helped you grow, if something that I've shared with, it's not about me. If I have benefited you and you've been able to grow as a result of it, why would you not step into something? We have only a few spots left for Powerhouse California, and I cannot wait to see who's going to fill those spots. And I know it's going to sell out as like super fast, like probably within the next week, maybe two. But as soon as those spots are gone, they're gone. And I'm not sure when I'm going to do the next Powerhouse retreat, only because our next big project, we've got a co-creation live stream coming up. So that's a masterclass called Mindset for Millions. So if you want a little sneak behind the scenes, July 31st. So I'll be sending out information on that. It's going to be a free 3-hour Mindset for Millions. We've got some really great co-hosts alongside me, so that's really cool. And then I've got my Dream Big event that's coming up in October. So my team and I have some other big projects. So the opportunity is now. So if this is you, connect with me, connect with my team, and can't wait to see if I get to see you June 24th and 25th in California in the San Diego area, and also have you on our intimate group coaching calls where we're going to be on Zoom. So I'm going to be helping you specifically really dial in your message, your sales enrollment, your beyond you conversations. We're going to go deeper into all of it and then make sure that we're handling your questions and holding you high. So I just want to mention that because I know that there are those of you who really should be a part of this group and this experience. And I want to be able to give you a hug in person. So selfishly, that's what it's about. Okay, so what questions do you have for me? A little sip. Okay, this is one of my favorite mugs. I know it's backwards. Big hugs, because I'm a professional hugger. Okay, I'm going to give some shout outs. It's the shout out time of my show. Okay, let's see here. Good morning. Good morning, Lahia, Kelly, Olga, Yvette. Hi, Ella. Hey, Donna. Welcome, welcome. Hi, Cece. Oh, my goodness. Hey, Lisa G. Lisa G. Naomi, Judy. I'm seeing a lot of familiar names on here. You've all been so committed to this boot camp. So proud of you. Hey, Jody. Hi, Joanna. Hi, Isabel. Isabel, I get to see you soon. Super excited. Hi, Jennifer, Miss Fashionista, philanthropist. You're awesome. Hey, Valerie. Valerie, I got your message. We're going to chat soon. That's awesome, awesome, awesome. Hi, Devorah. Oh, Devorah. Hi, Andrea. Oh, my goodness. So great. Okay. Naomi says, if I was your ideal client and could afford you, I would love to have you as my coach. So we'll have to make it my future goal. You're awesome and so wise. So yeah, Naomi, we should talk about that. So one of the things that I love to do, and some of you who are on here have experienced this with me, and that is a little like another side, like golden nugget. When somebody really wants to work with you and they really are in a dire place financially, then remember the deed. Don't let them off the hook, meaning think about how you can help them figure out a game plan. Like I always think about leaning into what I call best friend energy. If my best friend really wanted to do something, whether it was a program or go on a trip or, do some kind of really wonderful adventure. And if my best friend was like, I really want to do this thing, but I can't afford it. I just can't. First of all, I'd say, if you're in my realm, you're not ever allowed to say I can't afford. You can only say it's just not a priority because there's always a way. There's always a way. And before you decide that you aren't able to do something, why don't we just put our heads together and brainstorm some ideas and then make a decision instead of letting the limiting belief guide you? So Naomi, I know we've talked in the past and I'm not sure where you are in your journey. I know you were kind of thinking about several different things. I know you love your dog and you were talking about something about dog training, something. But yeah, we can talk about if you are, so that's the other piece. Like, I don't know where you are in the journey right now because it's been a little while since we last chatted. But if you are truly my ideal client, then it's about coming up with a game plan and taking the action steps, being coachable and saying, yes, I can. Yes, I can do this because I've decided it. Remember, decide, commit, take action. I have talked a lot about Dream Big, my big event that's coming up in the fall, October 1st, 2nd, and 3rd in Phoenix. Details coming soon. I was just on a call with Shay Wheat, who's my event producer. She's got an incredible event production team. And we talked for about an hour yesterday about the logistics and everything. And I know that I've got some big investments coming up to create this incredible event, right? I'm not going to go on the cheap. I really want to make it amazing. And it doesn't mean I have all the pot of gold just for this event. I'm committed to it because I know that my vision is bigger than my fear. It's bigger than my uncertainty. It's bigger than my, the little voice that says, who are you to think you could do this? It's bigger than all. My vision is bigger. So I get to commit to it. I get to commit to it and go all out, be all in, because that's the practice that I'm in. Remember, every single day you're practicing something. All of you. I'm not just saying this to you, Naomi. I'm saying this to all of you. Every day you're practicing something. You're practicing a way of being. You're crystallizing who you're becoming and what your legacy will be. So are you the type of person who says, I can't afford, and decides that I'm limited and that other people get to do this type of stuff? I don't. I know I can only recognize this because this has been me too, by the way, right? I have my moments too. Even now, I'll find myself looking at some incredible entrepreneur. I'm like, oh, why am I not there? Or could I create that in my own community? Or do we get to be the ones who say, I get to do this. I get to be one of the successful ones. I get to have my success story. And there's going to be peaks and valleys. It's not a smooth line. I get to have my peaks and valleys, and I'm committed to making decisions that are in line with my vision. That's it. Awesome. Yes. Hey, Holly. Hey, Lisa. Holly says, this is money. It is. If you take these steps, I'm telling you, this is what has helped me build a multiple six-figure coaching business, and I'm on my way to 7 figures. It's happening. Hi, Joanna. Good morning. Okay. So, Lisa, you said, I used to be good at closing people on the phone. Now I give them time to think about it. Why? I need to go over this mind block. So remember the don't let them off the hook piece? So I have that moment too. So remember, Lisa, the little voice. If you have the little voice, so I have the little voice. I'm going to get a puppet sometime, and then I'll be that nerdy girl with a puppet, whatever. So when the little voice comes up like, oh, let them think about it. They want to think about it. In fact, I was talking to a lovely woman yesterday, day before yesterday. And she said, I think I'm going to meditate on it. And I was like, okay, and I remember my don't let them out. Like there's the voice like, let her meditate, right? Like meditation's great. However, clearly she's meditated because we're already here talking twice. Like we already talked twice. So I said to her, I was like, I totally get it, right? I hear you. Meditation's great. And clearly you've already meditated because it brought us together. So, so just hear them out. And then the other thing that I'll say is I'll go back myself to a point like last week when I was like, should I do this? Could I do this on my own? And so I even said to her, I was like, is there anything else that's coming up for you where you're like, I don't know if I should do this. Like, what's the deep connection statement there? Which could be like, I don't know if I should. Is there anything else coming up? And so then she laughed, and then she opened up and shared with me. And then the next step was she stepped into Powerhouse, California, and I get to see her in June. And we're doing a coaching. I decided to bonus her a coaching session, a private one, normally for my VIPs. And I was like, let's just practice generosity here. Let me help you. I'm jumping on a call. So do you hear what I'm saying? Like, and if this voice gets really loud, the way to crush it, this is my best stuff. So I hope you're all listening. I'm like giving you my biggest secrets. To crush it, you call it out. Right? So Lisa, if I was going to make a difference beyond you conversation with you and you're like, I don't know if I need to think about it. And the voice was like, let her go, let her think about it, let her meditate, let her off the hook. Right? I would say to you, you know what, Lisa, I have this voice right now within me that's saying, just totally be the nice person, let her off the hook, let her go meditate. I said, I have this voice. And here's the thing. If I listen to that voice, then that's me not taking a stand for your vision, or that's me being a really shitty coach. And I've committed to myself, a couple years ago that I would never be a shitty coach. And it's great because it opens back up the possibility. And then oftentimes if they really are the right fit, they step in and they figure it out. As simple as that. It takes practice and, but as you make it your practice, it'll happen. Cece says, I'll follow you to the ends of the earth. Awesome. Cece, we are going to travel the world together. If you don't know Cece is an amazing artist that, Cece is amazing. Everyone friend request Cece right now. She offers these like healing, therapeutic, artistic sessions and experiences and retreats. Actually, I think she has a retreat coming up. She led this experience at Powerhouse, Florida. Oh my gosh, it was so beautiful. Music, we got the breeze going, and we got all these paints and a quiet meditation. Oh, so great. So just giving a little shout out to my girl Cece there. Awesome. Oh, Holly, I hate it when I break my favorite mugs too. So you get to buy new ones. You're creating space. It's all good. Hi, Stephanie. Awesome. Yes. Okay. Holly's got some great note for Naomi there. Awesome. Cece said, I saw the value in Amy. Yeah, Cece is one of our powerhouses. She said, I was scared because I was in scarcity mode. If you commit to Amy, the money will follow in. I promise. Oh, thank you, Cece. Awesome. Hey, Joanna. Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Okay. So on that note, I'm sure I went long because that's what I do. I do this. I always say like 30 minutes or less. So I am going to wrap this one up. Super grateful to have you all here. Proud of you for being a part of May Marketing Bootcamp. If you're watching the replay or on YouTube or on my blog, I'm super proud of you for taking the steps throughout this marketing bootcamp. And I'll be back on tomorrow for a stretch challenge. And if you haven't done a past stretch challenge, commit today that tomorrow is the day that you will take on my stretch and trust the process. And know that the things that I'm giving you to do are going to make a massive difference for you and your business so that you can create a bigger impact and more income and live the life of your dreams. All right, sending you so much love. Mwah. Bye.